Hello friends, and in this video we are going to talk about the Android application with the Sqlite database. So first let me create my application here, and I'm going to name it as the Sqlite database demo or something like that. So Sqlite database, then we finish. Now the Android Studio will make this whole setup ready. It's already there. So now we directly reach to the constraints layout, and let me remove this text view, and then there I'll first make my layout for the user interface, and that will be having one image. And this image I have already downloaded and placed it inside my drawable folder, and which I place it on the top of this so that it can look little prettier. Now I'll provide all 4 constraints to it. Just look at the design view. I'm pressing these buttons, and by this way I introduce the constraints from 3 sides. I'll leave the 4th one free. Then I'll introduce the 4 edit text, because I'm intend to take the name, mobile, email and the password from the user and store it in the Sqlite database, which is not truly as you can say that client requests, client server model, but this is embedded into the end programs, like it is a part of the programs. It's already embedded into the Android applications what I'm going to design, and there the all information will be stored. It is not a client or server model, like the client will be requesting and server will be obliging by providing the information. It is just like a lightweight relational database management system, and it stays well inside the programs, embedded into it. So for that I'll be needing 4 edit text and 1 button. The click on the button will store the informations entered by the user into the database. So for that let me create this layout where I'll be having one banner kind of, you can say, and this I'm using the constraints layout. So the first edit text will have the name, second will have the mobile, third will have the email ID, and the fourth will have the password, and the fifth will be a small button, the click on which will simply create the or you can say the transfer the data from these views to the Sqlite database. So this is just you're looking at the decoration part, or you can say the UI interface designing part, where I'm just trying to provide the constraints. The code you can find a little later, or you can stop the screen and see the code. I have already explained these kind of things in my other videos, that how you can work with the constraints layout. So from all 4 sides I am providing only the margin to the views so that they can be perfectly placed and they will produce a good looking user interface. So now all the elements I have I need to just make some changes. I don't want the hint, I want the text, and this is the button. So for that I just put the text as sign up, and then I will simply go to the values and styling string part. No, you better go to styling part, and then I want to remove the action bar. So you can see on the top, so this is the button where in the style you can see the color I have chosen, because my image is color, and see this is first color is color primary dark. I just want to make it as the color accent, and 3 more colors are there. I can later change them, but you can see this is the style part. 2 other things are present inside the values. One is color as string, which right now we are not using, but there you can put the strings and the colors related to the applications. So now in this, now you see, let me provide the 4th constraint to the image so that it is nicely placed, and below that I want to provide some margin, maybe 40 density pixel, and these elements are of same size so that they make a uniform layout. So now let me change the hints, like from the edit text I will change the hint. All these, like the first one is name, so I write Android hint, and then this will be become mobile. Then the last one, this is third one, is the email, so hint is not there. Let me introduce hint there. So I can write Android colon. You can also work with the input types. Input types mean whether you want to have a text or you want to have the password. So there is also one options called the Android input type. So this is, I'm just working right now with the hint, and later I can provide the input types also. This is the hint for the password, and all will have the gray out at the levity, like the gravity of these hints will be at center. So Android gravity center, it means all these elements, all these hint elements actually will be placed in the center of the edit text. Now you see the name is not there, so let me introduce the hint for the name. So yeah, it's hint it was, so let me hint, so now it's clear. So you can see all these so that the user can understand that what he has to enter into these views. So right now I think this part we are done, and these views should have the name also, because we have to receive data from these views into our main activity.java file. So now first let's see how it looks. So the Android emulator is coming up and it will display the layout. So let's see how it looks. I think that what I'm seeing in the design will be seen into the emulator also, more or less. Okay, good. So just little this, the Sqlite database where it is written, it is the action bar. Suppose if that is not there, it will look more prettier also, and this top pink, dark pink label is little different. I can also change the width of the image. So let me make the width as the match parent, and the height, I think the 200 dp will be sufficient, or 180. So I take 180 because it will create more space to my applications widgets. And there inside this I'll go into the styles. I'll remove the dark action bar as no action bar. So light dot, just press dot, we get the no action bar. So now you see the action bar is gone. So here you will find that on the top you had a pink band where the Sqlite name of the application is written. That will not be there anymore because that is gone. So now I think I need to work with this one. So you see the action bar is gone, and all the views are perfectly placed. They are looking cool. Now what I need to do is that I need to provide the IDs for these elements. So now since I have used the constraints layout, now let me provide some background to the button, because the button is dull gray. So now let me make it a color accent. It will be just like a reddish ring. Yes, so now this is fine. And okay, color I have already made white. So let me increase the buttons width as 120 dp. This is good. So now this is the UI designing part, and I think we are quite good here, and we have done it smartly. Now let me change the name of the widgets. Now see, this is a problem here, because all these widgets are placed relative to one another in terms of the constraints. So if you make changes in the one, you have to make changes everywhere. But the Android Studio offers you a most powerful tool, that in the design view, if you just go and change the name of that, I selected this one. So now look at the top, the ID is, I name is as ed name. So if I click here, it will say that yes, means I have changed wherever this word text is there, so I don't have to make any change. So now just freely you just change the name of the views here. So second one is ed mobile, third one is ed mail, and just you click on this yes, means change will be maintained by the Android Studio, and everywhere wherever these text name were changing, all these changes will be changed there dynamically, and you don't have to worry about them. So now I make the button as BTN sign up. So all these I have named as ed name, ed mobile, ed mail, ed password, and the button sign up. So I have now, coming back to the main activity.java, I have to make instances of 4 instances of the edit text, like the edit text. So I can name them name, mobile, and then mail, and other one is the password. I can take pass, whatever you feel like, but the significance and the purpose remains same. Now I need to make one button for also, one for the button, because button name is also important. So first I can make it later also. So here I just make the name equal to ed name is name equal to find view by id. Oh, okay. Now here name equal to find view by id r dot id okay, name equal to find view by id r dot id dot ed name, yes, and then similarly mobile equal to find view by id, mobile equal to find view by id r dot id dot ed mobile, and then mail equal to find view by id r dot id dot ed mail. Then one more is there, that is pass, and that will be having r dot id dot password. So pass is find view by id r dot id dot password. I need one for the button also, because for that I have to create on click listener, but you can do it anytime. It's not that you have to do in a particular way. So now for this I need to create one special class called as my database helper. So I create a class that is my database helper. This class will help me to create the database, create the table, and this is inheriting the Sqlite open helper. So the public class my database helper extends Sqlite open helper. It means the my data class helper is inheriting from Sqlite open helper. So if you just see the red bulb there, now if you click on that, you will get the options like you can override the methods. So you can also create the constructors. So all things are there, and we have to override the methods from the like the on create and on upgrade, these kind of methods. So first let me create these two methods. One is on create, another is on upgrade, and then I'll create one constructor. So when you create the constructor, you can select any one of them, because we will be passing only the context, not everything. We will be passing mainly the context, name of the database, and one null value along with the version number, that is 1. So I remove all these unnecessarily terms. They are confusing also, but we can get our job done because we have to pass only context. So this is context. Later I'll pass the database objects also, like the name of the database obviously. Now here I will pass the super means I'll invoke the constructor of the Sqlite open helper. So first let me create some strings that will be having the name of the id name of the database. So I'll go by private static final string, private static final string, private static final string, and then you write all in the caps lock. You can write caps lock means you can differentiate these letters from the normal keywords. That's why I have written caps lock. It's database underscore name equal to mydata.db. So this is my first line, and this line will help me to create the database with the name as mydatabase.db. Then I copy these 4 lines because I have to write them for 5 lines, one for table and 5 for those things, so 6 times. So let me paste it few times, and then I write table underscore name, and the name of the table I provide is customer. And then first for the ID, so I write the column 1, and that will have the ID because it is the primary key, and this is index also. Next is call 2, and that column title will be name. So yeah, so the name, mobile, email, password, 3 more, so call 3, and there it is, mobile, and then 1 for mail, call 4 equal to email, and then last one is call 4, that is password. So this interface helps that those who do not want to launch their applications to the cloud services, they can manage their things inside the applications database only. And then here I pass in the super I pass the context, database name, a 1 null value, and 1 is the version of the database, that is, since it is the first time it is created, that's why it's 1. Now I have to create some queries, that how to create. These are the normal Sqlite or SQLite kind of SQL kind of queries, where you just provide a string of things, and that is called a query, and it actually creates a database. So now let me create the query to create the database, and that will be given as db.exec_sql, like execute SQL, and inside this we write in the double quote, create table, and then come out of the double quote, and then attach the name plus table name, what I have already written in the private static final lines. So it's table name, and plus, then change the line, double quote, parenthesis, start, and in the parenthesis you write ID integer, because the type of the ID will be integer, and this is primary key, so you mention it here, that is primary key, and then you mention auto increment, because this entry will automatically be incremented when you enter the second user, it will automatically become 2, so auto increment. Then you have the name, which is of type text, so name text, and then you have mobile, I'm taking that also as text, so mobile also, name, no comma, name text, comma, mobile text, comma, email text, comma, like that. So be sure that you write the query properly, otherwise the database will not be created, you will be having problem. So just look at this term properly. So the mail text and the password text, yes, it is done. Parenthesis already closed, double quote closed, and then the main parenthesis closed, and this is done. Now what if that there is already a table, like when the table is already there, what will happen? Then for that we need to provide another query which will say that drop the table if exists, drop table if exists, and you just concatenate the table name here. Yes, table name. So this is done, parenthesis close and semicolon, and then you create like the db.onCreate. Whenever the onCreate method will be called, so you pass db to this onCreate and pass db. Now here you see that I need to get the values, so I need to create a functions where the insertions will be done into the database. So I create a public boolean, means return type is boolean, name is insert data, and it will take the 4 strings from the user, that is string name, comma, string mobile, comma, string email, and then final one is string password. So this is string password, and then inside that I will create first I'll take one writable database instance, and that I can do by creating the object of the Sqlite database. Sqlite database equal to this dot get writable database semicolon. Then you create the object for the content values. So write content values equals content value, this is the object, small context values equal to new content values. So the content value is ready. Now with the help of content value object, we will put the elements into the database. So the content value put, then you put the column. So the column 2, because column ID will be automatically incremented, we don't need that. This is column 2 dot name, content values dot put, column 3 comma name, it's not dot, comma, column 3 comma mobile name. Okay, its name is, we can later also change. Let me first create the code. Maybe some error will be there, but anytime when you're doing the thing dynamically, then you get a little confused. First you rewrite the code, or first write the flawless code. So the call for is the mail, and the final one is, here I have written name 2. I can later change it also, don't worry. So the content values dot put mail, and this last one is password. And then when this, with the help of content value, you have, with the help of this one, if when you insert, then it will return you one long values that needs to be stored. So with the help of Sqlite database dot insert data, insert function, we will just pass these names like the table name, and then null, and then content value object, because that contains, yes. So Sqlite dot insert table name, null, and content value, and then we have to check whether if it is successful, then you'll get some value in the result. So this is if result equal to -1, it means there is some problem, so it will write return false. And if it is not a -1, it means the result is true and the data has been inserted into the database successfully. So else you write return true. Okay, so now we are done here. Now we'll go back into our main activity.java, and then we will create one button for that. So the button, okay, so I write the btn, and then you press alt enter to remove that okay. Now button dot set on click list. Now first let me find it. Button dot find view by id r dot id dot btn sign up. This name we have provided into our main XML layout, so it's called as button sign up. Then on this I have to provide the on click listener. So button dot set on click listener, and inside the argument I passed new on click listener, and then public void on click. Then here I have to insert. So first let me create the object for this my database helper class, because with the help of that object only the data will be inserted. So my database helper, and then its object is my database helper. Let me initialize it, and this is my database, or you can say database helper equal to new my database helper and pass this, means it has been invoked here in this main class. So which has invoked, this class has invoked it. So now inside this I will pass just these values which are already present inside these edit text objects. These are the name dot. How you can fetch them? So it's like the name dot get text dot toString, and then you can trim it also to remove the empty spaces if you feel like. So inside this I will take one boolean value, because you remember the insert data which we have created, the return type of that is boolean, and that gives you true or false value. So when you call that will give you the true or false value, and if it is true it is inserted, otherwise it is not inserted. So the boolean res is result, and database dot insert data, and then I'm passing, look at the how I'm passing, name dot get text dot toString dot trim. Trim means it removes the blank spaces from the beginning and end, and the name is second is also same thing, the mobile dot, because mobile is the object of edit text and from where I'm fetching this data, so it's calling is get text. I'm getting the text from that edit text. So now last one is password dot get text dot toString, means convert this into string, and then trim means remove the empty spaces from the beginning and end of the data. Now this is done, and then only I have to check whether if res is true. If res is true, then I will simply run a toast, and on that toast I will be displaying that data has been admitted successfully. So if res, then toast dot make text and get application context, then you can call that, yes, then the message for this, the message is inserted, you can write comma inserted, and then inserted, and then later in again comma you can write the toast dot length long, and then you dot show function. This is done here. Now in the else part also I need to write a toast, so that you can understand that the insertion has been failed. So the toast dot make text get application context, and then failed, just this is the message, and then I write toast dot length underscore long dot show. Now I think we are done here. Okay, but one thing is we made a mistake, that I have to make some changes in the names there, which I have, yes, here. Okay, let me change the name of the database. I feel like IPL is going on, so I write IPL.db. So IPL, and then okay, almost everything is fine. Okay, oh, here I run. Name I have already changed, and the name is, the second one was there, the name and mobile, so it was not name. Now it's perfectly fine, everything is there. You can see it here also. I have changed the name comma mobile. So in the content value things, all these things are name, mobile, email, you see this properly clear. So the initially it was name, now I made it name mobile. So now this I'm entering the name, some information, so that you can understand that where to put this. This is a normal, this is not my mobile number, by the way, this is just a random number. So this is what, yes, and then I have to provide some password to this, and then if I click, then I have to check where the data has reached. It's inserted. Now where is the data? Where is the data gone? For that I have to click on this view button, not this one, view, and then inside this I have to find some yes, this is device file explorer. This is here, device file explorer, and then you see the list of the devices attached with this our application. Go inside the data, and then again data, inside the data, then you find your applications there, and this is what's com.sqlite database. Inside this you find that this database IPL DB is already present. It means the database has been made and maybe some insertion is also there. Let's see. So here I save it on my desktop, and I want you to know how you can see the database creations and the insertions of the data in that particular table name as customer. For that I will use Sqlite reader online, and this is, you just type Sqlite open online, and I have already placed my database IPL.db on my desktop, and then I open the Sqlite database. Now I have to go into the file, open DB. I'll select my database from my desktop. This is IPL.db, and yes, it is there. So now it's inserted. Now I'll run a query like select everything from the customer. Instead of demo, I just make it customer. Yes, this is customer, and then you can see that, yes, if I run, I'll find my only entry Rahul Singh is present. Okay, so this is my entry. Why the second entry? Because I just clicked one time by mistake, and that might have been inserted. So this is how this works. Thank you very much. Subscribe to our channel and stay healthy. Thank you very much. Have a very nice time.